Hello and welcome to another episode of Professionals in Cars.
Glad to have you back.
I'm Dan Roy.
Dylan Rooney.
Interesting topic, I feel. How to avoid email traps.
And there's plenty out there, Dan.
There's so many out there. And we're not talking about hackers and scammers and
Fishers or whatever
those
you want to call
pirates
them.
out there.
Yeah.
We're talking about people that are either in your company or customers, or salespeople, I guess, that you should have some type of game plan when responding.
Definitely. I mean, we've all been in those situations in the past where maybe you get an email from a superior, comes across like they're trying to inquire about some kind of information or they're saying something friendly, and then you reply back, and next thing you know, you're hounded for failing to do this the right way, do that the right way.
Yeah.
Or they're just looking for someone to vent to and yell at for some issue that's going on their plate. So
Exactly.
how to read between the lines on those emails and know when to reply, if to reply, or just how to handle it in general is very important.
I guess I'll go for more of like a customer email perspective.
Okay.
I've made it a point to make a cadence where I don't respond to an email immediately.
Okay. So what do you do?
I wait that out.
But there should be a time frame, no? Of how long you wait?
Absolutely. Well, I will typically, if something comes outside of work hours, I don't give them any indication that I'm going to respond to them. I don't start by responding to them like after legit work hours. Because as soon as you do it once, they're going to expect, oh, well, I know he's checking it. I'm going to expect it all the time.
Okay.
During the work day, sometimes I honestly have other things that I'm doing and I can't get to it. But I want them to always think that. I want the customer to always think that
There's that separation between...
there's a separation of yeah. I mean, I'm not dedicated and waiting for their call. Because as soon as they get the impression you are, the expectation has been set where they send an email or a voicemail and they expect an immediate turnaround. And that's just not realistic. You can't maintain that. As much, let's say some people want to maintain that. You can't. And when you can't, that causes you to have way more anxiety than you need. No one typically needs you to respond immediately every single time. But once they see that you will, they're going to want it. And then when you don't, you're going to feel anxious and bad about it. And you're always going to be on edge of, oh, when did they send something? When I got to get back to them immediately.
I agree. I'm a little different. I do reply to emails sometimes after hours. But what I do is, if I'm checking emails after hours, it's at a certain time. It's not, I'm checking my phone constantly throughout the night, replying to emails. It's, all right, I haven't checked in a few hours. I'm going to reply to all these emails at once. But let's say I have a feeling it's going to be one of those traps. Because I've fallen into one of those traps in the past. I've had a manager basically send me and my team a group email asking us for the status of a report that we're all working on. Each one of us having an individual part on the report. And she wanted to know if all of us have finished our part. I knew that was a loaded question.
Oh, yeah.
Right out the gate, I knew it was a loaded question.
Smart.
And rather than replying right away, I want to see, I knew I finished my part, but I knew if I said I finished, it would be, well, did you do X, did you do Y, did you do Z, and she would just read me out for the things I have done and I thought I did well.
Right.
So I kind of want to see how it play out beforehand, how people who maybe not finished their part or what have you.
Yep.
So let them be kind of the test subject for it.
You're spot on. Good job. Yeah, I mean, from a internal superior email perspective, if you're sent an email in a group, I would always advise to either not respond or definitely don't be the first to respond.
And I think, just to clarify what you were saying too, to not reply, you sometimes have to answer the message. I mean, sometimes some of the emails that you receive, though, don't actually require a response
Right.
too. So those are the ones that you're not going to reply to. Some of them actually do require some kind of response or something.
Yes.
And to build on top of that, some of the emails you receive will not have your colleagues CC'd on them. So you might be the only person in that battlefield. So what you have to do, I think, in instances like that, it's very important. Similar to some of those texts you might receive from a significant other, you can tell they're hostile right out the gate just from the text. You get emails like that too. And I think the best thing to do, similar to what Dan was mentioning earlier, is kind of give it that waiting period.
Yeah.
Let them maybe cool off. Give yourself time to think of an appropriate response. And if it's something that urgent and you know they're going to be fired up about, my go-to move is picking up the phone and calling them.
Exactly.
A lot of people have a little too much confidence behind the computer screen and on the keyboard these days. So I think picking up the phone or actually walking to their office is the best solution to nip any issue in the butt.
Absolutely.
Workout of the week?
Let's do workout of the week. I think you, in particular, like this one.
I do. So, for instance, I got home later than I would have liked last night.
Yep.
And this is a go-to workout for me when I don't have that time to get to the gym or just feeling kind of lazy and want something quick to do at home.
Right.
So it might take a few tries if you don't own it yourself. And Tony, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry, but Tony Horton's P90X ab ripper is a great 16 to 18 minute ab workout you can do at home. And I personally don't recommend buying the whole set if you don't want to. You can spend some time on Google. You can stumble across an illegal video of it, and that's what I do. And I set it up on my iPad, and it, like I said, 16 to 18 minutes of brutal abs.
Yeah.
You're talking at least, I think it's like 420 ab exercises in.
Wow.
Like I said, 16 minutes. It's
That's
tough,
crazy.
and Tony lays the hammer down. He's tough to deal with. I love me some Tony Horton.
Of course he does. I mean, I've never done it. I'll never give Tony Horton my business. I'm glad that you got it the way you did on Google, because I think it serves him right. I think he's been scamming America for the last 10 whatever amount of years that he's had this product out, and I think he's just a big scam artist, personally.
I want to correct myself. For those of you that are into the whole P90X series, I've done more than just the ab ripper. It's a great series. I would speak very highly of Tony Horton.
Yeah.
He's in his 50s now, is shredded, incredibly fit. I can't say enough positive things about Tony. I personally just do not want to spend the money for the whole at our P90 series. But for those of you into the whole series, support my friend Tony. Do not listen to Dan.
Still not enough people talking about.
All right, not enough people are talking about.
Go ahead.
All right, thanks, Tony. Not enough people are talking about. So for me, I was able to catch a really cool, I guess it was a short competition on Comedy Central. It was Jeff Ross's roast battle. I think it was a 4-day competition.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was a hybrid between a roast, like a Comedy Central standard roast, and a rap battle. So I believe they had maybe 16 or 20 competitors come out, and it was a one-on-one battle, 3 jokes each round. They each got to tell 3 jokes, and it was all about just being clever and unique in your jokes, but also just destroying and ripping and humiliating your component, and it was ruthless. The jokes that I saw were just outstanding. I mean, you can come prepared to this battle the best you can.
Yeah.
So do your research on your opponent if you know who you're going to be lined up with. But at the same time, they're going to throw a joke at you, and you have to reply and rebuttal, and you have no idea where their joke's going to be. But the best,
that's awesome.
oh, it was so good. But the best one I saw was the guy from the league came out.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen him since he was ripped apart on every news channel for lying about where he was in 9/11, saying he was in the Trade Center.
Mm-hmm.
So I think his name's Steve something.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But he came out, and I give him so much credit for coming out to his roast battle.
True.
But he was so lost. He was stuttering over his own words, just couldn't get a single joke out, couldn't land anything. At the end of the day, the judges were somewhat kind to him because they throw in their blows here and there. But they gave him credit for coming out. But it just showed how tough of a battle it really was.
Oh my God, that's so my style. Similar as TV show.
Okay.
I don't think enough people are talking about the MTV Challenge show.
Again, you got me.
Yeah, I
These-
mean, there's a couple of phases to this. I don't think people are not enough people are talking about the show itself. The fact that it's been on for 15, 20 years by now. Not enough people talking about the fact that Giant Bananas is still on it. He's won the most amount of challenges, won the most money on the show. He's still doing it. He's got to be pushing 40 by now. Lastly, the finale was last night. Not enough people are talking about the fact that this was a rivals competition. He was paired up with a female rival of his from past challenges. They won. Grand prize was $275,000. But because it was rivals, he was given a last-minute option to take all of it for himself rather than splitting it. The second and third place people split their prize amounts. I think pretty much anyone with any type of decency would split it because it took both of them to get to where they were. He took all the money for himself and left the girl with zero after
That's
probably 2 months of busting her butt, and a lot of things she was better at him at. And but because he did slightly better in that final challenge, he was given the choice and not her, and he took it all.
moving on to the drink of the week.
Drink of the week.
Well, for me, I didn't have anything unusual this past weekend. Didn't really drink too much to be honest. And I took a page out of your book. I went for more of a fruity drink.
Yeah.
So, page out of the Dan Roy book.
Yeah. Good about you.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. So what I did was I actually took, as we've discussed in earlier episodes, I don't like a lime in my Corona.
No, you don't.
But I like the idea of maybe something a little bit citrusy in there.
Yep.
So I know that contradicts itself completely.
Yeah.
But I had my Corona, I opened it up, I took about maybe 2 sips of it, and then right into the bottle I dumped a little pink lemonade. Actual pink lemonade from the carton. I dumped it, just filling up those 2 sips that I took into my Corona, and it was awesome. What about yourself?
We have something in common.
About time.
I also had a fruity drink, and it was also involving pink lemonade.
Well, a fruity drink I'm not surprised about, but again, I'm not surprised you copied me either, so.
Here we go. Here we go. So this was a mixed drink. You want to make sure that the pink lemonade that you get is not too sweet because the vodka is kind of sweet too.
Okay.
We got like Ocean Spray. It was a little too sweet, but in general, I think it's a great drink. It's a good summer drink, and it fits my criteria.
Best thing I saw this week, big break for the surfing world as well as the skating community.
Yeah, this is big.
Surfing as well as skateboarding will be in the 2020 Olympics in Japan.
I feel like you deserve a round of applause.
I personally am very excited. There actually has been some, I guess, controversy or some arguments back and forth in the surfing community of whether or not this is a good thing, because a lot of them want to keep the sport pure, they say, and not go mainstream with it. But in my eyes, I think it's a great thing for the sport. It's going to get some more publicity. I mean,
huge.
you
Way
already
more
see
eyes.
a bunch of jabronis in the water. I mean, as long as you can overcome maybe a few more kids in the water getting into the sport, it's a great thing for the sport as a whole.
Absolutely.
And I think it's just about time. So
I think it's great. Best thing I saw all week, it's a bit personal for me, but over the weekend was the National Dance Day, which is publicized on So You Think You Can Dance, goes to the Dizzy Feet Foundation. I believe that's all run by the same executive producer. So it's for a good cause. And basically people get around, there's one dance that you're supposed to learn, and you go to different areas in the country, like a Six Flags, whatever, and you can go and everyone's there, and you got people from the show that leads like the choreography and, on a stage, and you guys all kind of dance and you do your thing. Then there's also obviously videos you can shoot online and submit it to the hashtag and all that stuff. And then on So You Think You Can Dance, they show them on TV. So that's what we did. My wife and I filmed us doing the National Dance Day dance over the weekend. And guess what happens? One of our top 3 favorite dancers from So You Think You Can Dance history likes it. Alex Wong. And if that name doesn't mean anything to you, I'll link one of his videos in our info box, and you'll see why he's ridiculous. I think that was a good week.
solid week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed.
Yep.
And we'll be back next week with some more exciting info for you.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Bye.